Hello, my friends and loved ones. Welcome to People Touching People Forum. My name is Dr. William Lee. I'm the host of this program. And joining me tonight is my co-host, Miss Donna Thomas. Miss Thomas, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Tonight we're going to be discussing a very, very important topic. And the topic, of course, will be overcoming the pandemic of fear. Mm-hmm. Very, very intriguing topic, Miss Thomas.
Oh, yes.
I think there's so much for us to share with the audience. There's so much for them to learn, and it's going to be very good, great program tonight. So welcome.
Thanks.
And of course, we want to discuss, as I mentioned, fear, but I have a few questions that we're going to address here. First, we want to talk about what is fear. Second question is, what are the characteristics of fear? Third question is, what are the side effects or the various sides of fear? Number 4 question is, how can we then overcome fear? Mm-hmm. And then the last question we'd like to address tonight, Ms. Thomas, is what can we learn from this discussion tonight?
Yep.
So again, welcome to the audience. First question I want to propose, and we're going to address that tonight, is what is fear?
What is fear?
Everyone experiences fear. Mm-hmm. You do, I do, all of us, every person in the world do experience fear. It is very important then, Ms. Thomas, to understand what fear is and how it works. Very, very important. Mm-hmm. It works against us or for us. It can work for us or it can work against us. Because if we don't, it can keep us from becoming, hallelujah, what we were created by God to become. Mm-hmm. All right.
So as we continue,
mm-hmm.
So fear is a tool the devil uses to make us miserable and to destroy our lives.
Yes.
It is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat to us.
Yes.
Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by anticipation or awareness of danger. Mm-hmm. It can begin with a thought and then creates emotions that can rule us. It often becomes a strong, intense feeling that tries to move us to make foolish decisions or tries to prevent us from doing something that would be good for us. It is a common way that Satan attacks people's lives.
Wow, that is so true.
That's
so
right.
True. There are 3 sources of fear, Ms. Thomas. 3 sources of fears. We have the external fear, which is a mortal danger fear, where our lives are constantly under threat. Mm-hmm. That's external, all the external fears that comes in that area. And then we have the internal fear, situational contained fear, where your fear is linked to a specific object, activity, or situation, Ms. Thomas. And then you have the third source of fear. I call it the subconscious fear, a pervasive, bleeding fear, where there is a general state of fear that is present across our life.
That's right.
Span. So what are there are two sides to fear, which we're going to discuss tonight, Ms. Thomas. Mm-hmm. We have the positive fear, and we also have the negative fear.
And a lot of people probably are asking, what could be positive about fear?
That's right. Right. Okay. And then we will help them tonight, as we break down those 2 classification sides of fear. So first of all, let's talk about the negative sides of fear. All right? So the negative side of fear, it weakens our physical health. That type of fear. It cripples your body, cripples your mind. It steals your joy. Mm-hmm. It fears destroys your ability to do the things which you normally love to do.
Mm-hmm. Fear will also cause us to think irrationally.
That's right.
We have irrational thoughts because of all these fears and all these thoughts that crowd our minds.
Yes.
Fear will cause us to overlook God's truths and promises.
That's right.
Fear impedes our spiritual growth. And we see this happen a lot in the church, where there are so many opportunities for people to do things in the church, but because they're so fearful, they're so scared of what people are going to say, of the mistakes that they're going to make, so they stop. they don't want to move on because of the fear that's driving them to, shrink. Fear separates us from God and also from people.
That is right. That's right.
Fear is a powerful emotion and has a very strong effect both on our body and also on our minds.
Yes.
Fear is a natural, powerful, and primitive human emotion that is triggered by a perceived threat.
Wow. Okay.
By a perceived
That's right.
threat.
That's right.
That's important. It is a basic survival mechanism that signals our bodies with a fight, flight, freeze, flop, or friend. And just let me explain a little bit about the fight. Sometimes you're in situations where you have to fight to get out.
That is correct.
You have to put up a fight. Let's say somebody's coming to attack you. You're fighting that person to get away.
That is correct.
And then there are instances where things happen and you run away. You're not able to face whatever is coming at you. And then there's also the emotion where you freeze. You're stuck. You can't do anything, right? And then also flop is where you just give up. It's like you faint away. It's too much. You can't handle it. And then there's the friend. Sometimes we're going through different emotions of fear, and we have to call that friend. We have to call somebody who is going to walk us through it, who's going to talk us through it, right? Yeah.
It's amazing that you mentioned these 5 principles here, Ms. Thomas, but it is a fact that we all operate within the sphere of these 5.
That's right.
Either we fight when we are afraid, when we are attacked, as you said, or we flight.
Yeah.
I mean, we run.
We run.
And that's why I'm such a fast runner. Because I remember as a boy at nights when we go to the shop, and, there's all that stuff in the bush over there. That's how we learn to run.
That's right.
Because we're afraid.
I've had that experience.
You've had that experience,
too, yes.
right? And of course, freeze. I read a news clip some time ago about Jamaica in Kingston. A lady, there's a gully there, and there's a road. It's downtown Kingston where the folks have to cross when they're coming. They have to drive down there to go on the other side. And the lady, they were crossing, but the rain was coming from the mountain, and the water was gushing down the gully so fast, and she was not aware of it. So by the time she got in the center of the gully there, the water came down, and the folks were calling her, but she just froze.
Yes.
She could not move. I mean, everything shuts down, and the water came and just took her. Unfortunately, she was drowned into the sea. So I understand. And flop, I like what you said about flop. You just give up, And friend, I like this one about friend. You say when we are afraid, so a lot of us cry out for help.
That's right.
This is quite profound, very profound. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Fear can also lead people to experience a wide array of physical and mental changes.
That is correct.
And irrational or intense fear may interfere with your happiness, sense of security, and the ability to function effectively.
Wow.
And we see this happening around us, where people are fearful of what's going to happen in the future.
That is correct.
It causes them to be unhappy because you're thinking about the future, which doesn't have a bright outlook.
Yes.
So, of course, you're going to be unhappy.
Yes.
Your sense, there's no security. Even in our jobs, some people in their jobs, there's the sense of insecurity, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen down the road. So they cause this fear now to affect how they function day to day.
Yes, yes. Let's talk about some of the examples of fear. We're still on the negative fear. Let's look at some of the examples. And I'm sure as we give a few of these, we can relate to some of these. First of all, there's some people that are afraid of the dark.
Yes.
They cannot go into the dark. They cannot sleep in the dark unless there's light. And that creates fear, fear of the unknown.
Yep.
What about heights?
Oh, yes.
Folks are afraid of climbing upon the ladder or climbing on the rocks because of the fear of falling, fear of heights. Strangers, there are folks that are afraid of strangers. Even in Toronto, you go on the subway, you go on the bus, and you find it's quite obvious when people are withdrawing.
Yes. They're
they
withdrawn.
don't want to be associated with other people. They're
Yes.
afraid because they don't know who the persons are.
Exactly.
And so that
They have a
also
fear.
creates fear. How about lonely places? Is walking in some places that it's quite lonely.
Yes.
You know, it could be a pathway, could be walking through the mall or through the park, and it's lonely, and you look around, and that fear comes upon
Yes.
you. What if I'm attacked? What if something happens? And that also brings fear. What about closed up spaces?
Yeah.
You know, have you ever been there?
Yes, absolutely.
Closed up spaces mean some folks are afraid to go in.
It's tight.
It's tight.
Yeah,
You know, they
tight
like to see
spaces.
space.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right. That is it.
And also for me, I find that I don't know if you would consider this to be fair, but I like when I'm at church, I don't like a lot of people around me.
Okay,
I like
all
to
right.
be at the end, and I don't want to be surrounded by a lot of people.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a
And
fair.
that is
but-
also fear. So you have to come and see me for counseling. Well, we're enjoying this, but that is also fear. That is a measure of fear. What about death?
Oh, yes.
Fear of death. You know, some folks are really afraid.
Yes.
You know, yesterday, Saturday, I did the funeral here, as you know, and before we started, I was talking to one lady, and she was so afraid. She says, you know, is the coffins coming in church? Because I don't like. She said she have had one experience, and that she was tortured for months
okay.
by just seeing the coffin.
Okay.
But she was happy when we said no, the coffin won't be here and all
Okay.
that. But some folks are just afraid,
Yes.
afraid of the death, or also afraid of dying.
Yes.
How about that one?
Are
know,
you afraid of dying, Dr.
No, not
Lee?
at all. No, I'm not afraid of dying. I mean, again, knowledge, and after
Yes.
having to deal with so many persons that have passed away, you know, you become immune to that.
Yes.
But there was a time I was.
Really?
Yeah, can I tell you a little story?
Sure.
Yeah, when I was a boy, little boy, I used to suck my thumb, you know. Yeah, I never forget. And my grandmother died. I still have a lot of memories. My grandmother died, and the carpenters were making the coffin out in the yard, you know. And just so happens, I don't know if they just decided to play with me. The carpenter, Mr. Woody, they caught me, they grabbed me. Say I must stop sucking my finger. You know what they did?
They put you in
They put me in the coffin and put the lid on it. And I'm looking up at the glass. I'll tell you, I don't think I saw my finger after that. When they released me, man, I took off a life, you know. That I still remember. And from then, I was afraid of coffins. I was afraid of dead people. But after you grew up and deal with so many,
That's right.
We're used to that now.
Yes.
But some folks, they're also afraid to go to sleep. They're just afraid of
They're
dying.
afraid of dying.
Of dying, you know.
A lot of people are afraid.
Yeah.
But I don't think Christians are afraid of dying. Do you think Christians are afraid of dying?
None of them are afraid of dying.
But why would they be afraid of dying?
Well, we're going to address that later on.
Okay.
We're going to address that. Are you afraid of dying?
Absolutely not.
Good.
I'm only afraid to leave my kids, but I'm not afraid to die.
Well, you know, dying it's a journey. It's a journey, and when your life and your heart is ready,
Yes.
you move on from time into eternity.
That's right.
You know, it's just a transition. You know, and so when our time comes, you know, my request, if you as we address this, is that if the good Lord will permit me, I want to die the way my mother died. My mother just went to bed, and that was it.
Oh, okay.
No
So
struggle,
no stress,
no illness, no stress, no accident.
pain,
And I said, that's the way I would like to go. Just to go to bed when my time comes and say, bye-bye world, I'm going home.
I guess a lot of us would say the same thing.
Of course.
No
of course.
pain, no.
Of course.
You just sleep away. So easy peasy.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about sickness?
Yes.
Fear of sickness. You know, there's some folks that are so afraid, you know, of even visiting someone that has cancer because they're afraid that they're going to get the cancer.
Oh, dear.
Or someone that have diabetes or some incurable disease. They're afraid to associate themselves because there's the mindset, the fear is that same disease that person has is going to come on you.
But I also think that people fear sickness because it robs you of the ability to work.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
robs you
Yes.
from socializing with families and friends,
Yes.
depending on the illness. So I think a lot of people actually fear that aspect of it than just being with somebody who is sick.
But I must be candid with you, Miss Donna, Miss Thomas, that if I don't know if that's fear, but I don't want to get sick. I don't have the time to be sick. I'm too busy. That's just my mentality. So if I have a little headache, I just one shot is finished. Or some folks enjoy sick.
How?
Because they don't want to work. There's a flip side to the coin too. You know that.
Well, I get it. It has to do with the level of illness, right?
Or some folks are getting insurance. Can I tell you a secret? There was a lady once I was praying for her, and she had a car accident. Someone bumped her in the back, and she was wearing this collar. And so she came and we were praying for her, but she's getting insurance. And so while I'm praying for her, Miss Donna, she whispered in my ears. So I'm believing God with her to get healed. She said she's not ready yet because she's waiting for insurance.
So you're going to tell God, oh, no, God, I'm not ready to be healed yet.
You're waiting for insurance. Think about that. But some folks, I understand, there's a fear, especially incurable disease and sicknesses. They're afraid of going even to the hospital. Some folks are afraid of going to the hospital because of some of the treatments that they do receive there.
Yeah.
How about police?
Yes.
Are you afraid of police?
No, I'm not. But when I was a kid, I was, based on the news and all the news of, because there's good police and there's bad police. There's good instances, bad instances. And a lot of times I find that the news, they talk more about the bad incidents more than which causes fear in us as children.
That is correct. Yeah. Again, when we understand that they're functioning their duty.
That's right.
And not only that, when we are abiding citizens, when we are doing that
there's
which
no
is right.
need to fear.
There you go.
That's
there you
right.
go. What about court? Some folks are afraid of standing before the judge. Yes. Are you afraid?
I don't think I will be if I have to.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'm a funny guy.
Are you afraid of the courts?
No, not at all. But one day I got a speeding ticket, So I went to court to challenge it because I feel the police was injustice. But it just so happened that my cousin came to visit from England. Maybe I shouldn't. And I said to him, "Come, you want to go to court with me?" And he came. He sat down, and he was amazed. It's different the way we do court here from the way,
does it different.
But I had fun with the judge. The judge gave me a chance to ask questions, and I'm talking to the judge. He's like, "Wow." And he's responding. I think he was shocked. Okay. When you go before the judge, he expects you to be nervous.
Yes.
And I'm
to be quiet, just listen. Yes.
But you know what? I got off the case.
Oh, good.
Yes, because I made a very valid point, and I'm asking the judge himself questions too. And my cousin was down there laughing and said, and so, but some folks are afraid.
Yes.
Afraid. When you go before the judge, there must be a reason.
That's right.
Yeah. What about doctors? Oh, that's a big one.
Yep.
Are you afraid of going to the doctor?
Sometimes. It depends. So if I have to do like any tests or anything, and the doctors I always say, why don't they just give you the results over the phone? They say, you have an appointment to come in, and then you have to go. So while you're waiting, is it a good outcome? What you keep, and then.
But there's a psychology behind it.
Yes, I don't know. Sometimes
if
I
they
do.
give you the report over, well, of course. It's
yes,
of
course,
you understand?
Of course. I do.
The second visit, a little more money there. You understand?
Yes, I understand.
But but doctors, and then one other thing about men, I find men do not like to go to doctors.
Why? You're a man. Tell us.
I have no problem. I'm always doing my physical everything.
But why do men on a whole?
I don't know. Just a mentality that they and when they do end up going to the doctor, it's too late.
Yeah, because they wait too long.
Prostate cancer and other illnesses.
Yeah.
But women seems to go to the doctor regularly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we want to make sure that everything is okay. Yeah. We have our families to take care of. We have our husbands to take care of.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we are okay.
Yeah.
So it's we as the woman, we have to encourage our partners.
That's right.
We need to, set up a reminder.
Oh, yes.
You have to go to get even though, but some of them still.
Yeah, of course, because they just feel if they go to the doctor, they're dying. All right. What about dentists? That's another one.
Oh, yes.
Fear of dentist. Have you ever been
Fear of the pain. Oh, yes. Fear.
Oh, I love dentists.
Why?
I don't have a problem because I go and get my regular cleaning and all that.
The pain, yeah.
Okay.
The pain.
Right. So, again, fear. What about fear of taking medication?
Yeah.
Can you address that? medication.
Yeah, because I think some people fear medication because of some of the side effects that you
Okay.
get from the medication,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Yeah. So
But
I
then-
guess that would cause some fear, right?
But then if
because if you're taking medication, it's going to make you feel. I remember after I had my first daughter, I got medication, and I noticed I'm taking the medication, but I'm feeling so ill. So anyway, I took it. There was a refill. I asked my cousin to go fill it. When she went, the pharmacist told her, "Do not take tea. Do not do this." The first pharmacist did not do that.
Oh, dear.
So I'm having tea and I'm taking it, which I'm not supposed to.
Oh,
so
yes.
that was what's caused me to
affecting
feel
you.
ill, right?
But it's
So-
also good to ask the questions, all the necessary questions when you sit with the doctor.
Yeah.
Make sure, because of course you have to protect yourself,
Yes.
right? But medication, another one.
Yeah.
What about relationship breakup?
Oh yes,
Wow.
this is a big one.
A lot of folks say, "I'll never get married again.
Yeah.
I don't want another husband. I don't want another wife." And because I've had bad experience.
Because
What
of
do
the
you-
experience.
What do you say about that?
Because of the experience that they went through.
Yeah.
It tarnished them. It's like, no, I'm not doing. It's like I don't want to repeat. It's best if I do this solo.
Yeah.
Because persons have been in marriages, in relationships where they've put all in. They
Yes.
have put all in, and at the end of the day, their partner leaves.
Yes.
Sometimes for reasons that things can be worked out, but because of all the different external and internal factors, there's a breakup. So persons are left traumatized.
That is correct.
How
agree.
do I do this again?
But
Right?
don't you feel though, Miss Thomas, that I know love, as I said, love is blind.
It is
And during
blind.
courtship, you guys close your eyes. And after the wedding, that's when you open your eyes, and it's too late. But
Are
don't
you serious, Dr. Lee?
I'm just remember, I'm a counselor.
No. That's for
I'm a
me.
counselor, yes.
I do believe that love is blind because when you are in love, there are so many things that we overlook in our partners.
Right.
And it's not because we have closed our eyes, it's because we are so in love with our partners. Everything about them attracts us. So nothing about this is the honeymoon phase where everything is attractive and it's nice, right? So because of love, all of that, you set that aside because this is a moment where here you are with your partner, both of you are having nice, wonderful time, having lovely conversations
Yes,
and all of
yes,
that.
yes.
And suddenly things start to get sour because of different factors again,
course, of
internal and external
course,
factors.
we agree.
Right?
We agree.
So are you saying is that time that person's eyes are open now?
Well, first of all, I do a lot of premarital counseling and intervention counseling and all that as a psychologist. There's so many reasons, and we could spend all night on this line. There's so many reasons why people get married. So many reasons. And you have said some of them, love is blind and all of that, and time is running out. Some people say they are getting old.
Yeah.
And some say, well, for different reasons. But you do understand that even if you're going to buy a car, you do your research. You're going to buy a house, you make sure you check out the house, you do the research. A lot of times persons just see the person and fall in love without checking out the
That's
background
true.
of the person and do some serious investigation. Do you agree?
But do you know you could be with someone for 50 years and you never know that person?
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
So no matter how much you check, you will never ever really
But
know
now,
that
don't
person.
forget we're talking about relationship breakup here now.
Yes.
So you're still,
exactly.
you're still with the person.
So it's the fear.
Yeah.
It's the fear. It's all the trauma. Right?
I've in my counseling, I've advised persons in the past to separate.
But
Walk
what
away
if the
from
person doesn't want to separate?
No, but they do. They do because of all the abuse and all the stuff. And yet I've encouraged others to stick it out. You understand? You have to understand and look at what people are going through. The physical, the
That's
emotional,
right,
the
that's right.
psychological. I've always said it's better to be single and happy than to be married.
Totally
and
agree.
and frustrated and live a miserable life. It
Totally.
doesn't worth it.
Yes.
Life is too short.
That's right.
All right, so we're talking about that also brings fear. What about swimming in the sea?
Oh, yes, I have a fear of that.
Can you swim?
Nope.
Wow.
I
Okay.
can not swim. I cannot dive. I cannot float. Yes, yet I live like a stone throw away from the
Wow.
sea.
But it's beautiful in the sea.
Yes, but do you know why though? It's a fear of drowning because when I was younger, I almost drowned.
Oh, okay,
So
I got
I
you,
have
I
a
got you.
fear
I got you,
of
I
the
got you.
water. Yeah.
I got you. Well, a shark once almost ate me, but I still love it. I like the deep. I like to swim. But anyways, but some folks are like that. Even the bathtub, they don't want to fill up the tub
Yeah.
with water. They are afraid.
It's a fear.
And that also brings fear. Eating certain type of food also brings fear. You agree?
Yes.
And so I want to give two examples, and then we're going to go further, which is so important in my practice over the years. This couple, we're talking about fear of heights.
Yes.
This couple came from Guyana, and years ago. Now in Guyana, they don't have apartment buildings like Jamaica. Now you have a few. They don't have elevators. And so this couple came and then they moved into an apartment. It was a culture shock for the wife. They were living on the 8th floor. She could not take the elevator.
Oh dear.
She was so traumatized. So whether she go groceries, she goes to work, she takes the staircase. She cannot go in the
dear.
elevator. And so it got bad. It got bad. And so they came to see me for help. And I thank God. God gives me wisdom in these areas. And I had a couple of series with her and counseling her. And then the time came, I said to her, I made an appointment with her. And I said, I want to meet you and your husband at a certain time in the lobby.
Okay.
Well, that's me now going the extra mile.
Yes.
So I went down, I met them there, we're in the lobby. Because, one of the ways of overcoming fear is to face it.
To
right?
face the fear, yeah.
And so we sat in the lobby, we're talking, she's nervous, she's shaking. And I said, all right, now your doctor is beside you. I said, you're going to come with me now. Remember, I'm your source of strength.
That's right.
And you're going to stand beside me. You and I going in the elevator. We're going on the second floor, just second floor.
Yes.
Husband encouraged her, but I don't want the husband. You sit there, I want just she and I. So she was trembling, we got in the elevator, and I'm encouraging her. We got off on the second floor. Wow. So we went down the staircase. So second, third, fourth, and I think about the 5th or 6th floor, I brought the husband in.
Okay.
We're going up. Would you believe, within an hour and a half, that spirit of fear was broken off her. She and her husband was able to go. And yeah, sometimes they let her do it alone. And no more fear. No more fear. So
Because she faced it.
face it. Another one, and I have had many. And this elderly couple from Sri Lanka. But this was a very dramatic one, very sad. We're living in Toronto here in a condominium. Mother died. Mother was living with them, and she was so afraid. They were so afraid to go into that bedroom where the mother
Died.
Oh,
Okay.
She closed it. They could not go into it, and then the husband had to go to work, but it traumatized her, and nightmares and all of that,
Yes.
and it got really bad. So, and she was blaming herself that her mom died. I guess it got to her mentally.
Yes.
They came to see me. I said, all right, we're going to work on this. And we're working on it. And finally, I said, let's go to the cemetery. She said, cemetery? I said, yeah. I said, we'll go to the cemetery, which we did. But to make a long story short, we got there and I walked her through it. And finally, that thing was broken.
Oh, good.
Right.
Good.
So that's a negative.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the positive.
Oh, yes.
How about the positive sides of fear? So we look at the negative, but there's also the positive. And I think if we have a few more minutes, let's just try and wrap it up.
Yes.
The positive side of fear, it heightens awareness.
Yes.
Fear keeps you alert and helps in better preparation. Yeah, that positive side.
That's right.
Acknowledgement and enlightenment takes time to understand. Yeah, what makes us fearful. It can also offer. It's very useful. It can offer useful insights. Yeah, and help to prepare for the fear, and even of reducing the fact of the fear that triggers.
Yes.
Right? The positive side of fear. Right? All right. Also focus and concentration.
Yes.
How about that one? It creates goals that will set you up for success and keep you on your journey. Are you there?
Yeah.
Positive side of fear now, which you face. You face obstacles on your pathway, which includes faith.
Yeah.
So we go back to marriage and relationship,
Yes.
right? The positive side of fear alerts you when you see the red signal, the signs, when you
Yes.
see behavior, pattern,
Yes.
right away. There's that
Yes.
positive to say, stop for a moment,
Stop, right.
observe, investigate, something is wrong.
Yes.
Unfortunately, some of us don't. We just bulldoze our way in and end up getting hurt.
We ignore the red sign.
Red signs, right?
Yeah.
But the positive side, what was dissecting extremes? It is worth it. That's the
Is
question.
it?
It's
Is
worth
it
it
worth?
when we really are about to make decisions, and we know that some things are not right. You have to pull yourself back because the fear is saying, "Hey, check it out." And you want to ask the question, is this really worth it?
Yes.
Should I get into this relationship? Should I buy this car?
Yes.
Should I buy this house? Is it worth it? How much do I deserve? You know,
Desire.
what about the outcomes? What is going to be the after effect? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So this is a key question to ask when you have a dream and fear is holding you back.
Yeah.
What to do? What do you do? What do you have to do to achieve your goal? You're afraid to step forward,
Yes.
right? It's your goal, but there are different steps. There's a
Different,
process, but
of course.
you're afraid. Facing fear and building the fear muscles requires an appetite for risk. So
Risk-taking.
you have to be a risk taker, even
Yes.
though the fear factor is showing up there.
Yes.
Removal of barriers. How about that? Removal of barriers. Fear forces you rather to examine the real and imagine
Yes.
barriers that are holding you back from achieving your goal. What are real? What are not real?
Yes.
Does it worth it?
Yes.
And of course, removal of the barriers is not a one-off process. Ms. Donna, it's not just one time. Rather, it involves identifying the major barriers. Holding you back and taking small steps.
That's right, baby steps.
And actions on a regular basis towards defeating the barriers. Breaking routine. What about that? Presence of fear when undertaking a big goal tells you are stretching yourself and getting out of your comfort zone. Continue, Miss Donna.
Breaking routine involves reimagining things,
Yes.
right? You imagine things and processes and you identify new patterns
That is right.
and possibilities to aspire for, taking risks, exploring and being adventurous.
That is correct.
That means, remember last time I talked about that box that you're in, it means stepping out, taking chances, taking risks. This is what it means right here.
That is good.
Breaking routine. Stop doing the same things, because remember, if you do the same things all the time, you will be getting the same results.
That is correct.
So you have to do things
Yes.
differently.
Yes.
Right. And of course, do not expect changes overnight. It is a process.
That is correct.
Right. Opportunities and resources. Fear tells you that something could be missing.
Yes.
What resources do I have and what don't I have? It makes you realize that you don't have all the answers.
That is correct. Yes.
Activates championship mentality. Turn your fear into a personal competition where you can set a target for yourself and seek to break your own records over and over again, which simply means you're competing with yourself.
That is correct.
And this
Very
is how
good.
you're going to get results.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
The greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it.
Wow.
Let me repeat that.
Wow.
The greater the obstacle, the more glory in
Yes.
overcoming it.
That is correct. Very good.
It motivates you to build skills. Sometimes fear can point out the inadequacies that we have, or what
Yes.
tools, skills, knowledge, or abilities we lack to progress on a desired course of action. Fear acts as an alarm clock, reminding us that we need to do it a bit more.
Yes.
Do a little bit more. So, for example, you want to do this course. You've always wanted. Let's say, for example, you want to be a social worker, but you have this fear of going. You say, I'm gonna fail. You already tell yourself you have this fear of going to classes. You have this fear of even starting.
Yes.
So what this is saying, it motivates you to build skills. So you have to face this fear, right? Remember, you just have to start, right?
That is correct.
You
Yes.
need to start. If you don't start, you've lost the race right there. So this is an alarm clock that reminds me I need to step out.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I need to step out and I need to start this. And I remember my first year doing my undergrad, my first class, and everybody was so, you're in university and the work is so hard, and person are saying, how are we going to manage? How are we going to manage so much? And I remember specifically, I said to them, listen to me, guys. Stop looking at the mountaintop.
Come on now.
Let's take it one step at a time, one assignment at a
That is
time.
correct. That
Let's
is
look
correct.
at the foot of the mountain. We're not looking at the top yet. We're looking at the foot. So we're going to take it one assignment at a time. And I remember the last day of class when we were giving our feedback as to, how did we overcome it? We were so fearful.
Wow.
And I remember this guy, he said, I always remember what Donna said. She said, let's take it one assignment at a time.
That is wonderful.
That
is
was the
awesome.
last
That
class.
is
He
awesome.
said, I always remember that.
Wow.
So when we face our fears, we are able to tackle. We're able to take it baby steps.
Yes.
One
Yes.
assignment at a
One
time.
day at a time.
You're done with that assignment. You're not looking at all the other assignments for the term. We're taking it one at a time. And when you pass that one, you go to the next one. And
Yes,
that's
yes.
what helped them to overcome the fear
That
of
is
being
awesome.
in the university.
That is awesome.
Yep.
That is wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. Take a limitation and turn it into an opportunity.
Wow.
Take an opportunity and turn it into an adventure by dreaming
Wow.
big.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Very good.
Dreaming big.
Very well
Because
said.
if you can dream it,
Yes.
if you can think it, you can dream it. And if you can dream it, you can believe it.
That is correct.
That's right.
I love that.
Yes.
That is correct.
Letting go and the after strength.
Yes.
Fear and worry could be brought about by the desire to want to be firmly in control.
All right.
There comes a point when the best course of action is to let go and allow things to happen on their own.
Yes.
The beautiful journey of today can only begin when
Yes.
we learn to let go of yesterday.
Wow. That's powerful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's powerful.
That is beautiful.
Powerful. Sometimes you just have to let go.
Yep. We have
we
to.
don't always have total control of all the circumstances that we face. And so let's talk about overcoming fear and reward, anticipation. When you face fear, and you're excited and anticipating the rewards that you will get when you emerge victoriously. This provides the boost to motivate oneself to push on.
Yes, you're encouraging
I've
yourself.
always said
Yes.
it's a journey, it's a process.
That's right.
And when you look at the end of the line, there's a reward.
Yes.
And there's a cost to achieve, to be successful, there's a cost.
Yes.
And nothing comes cheap.
No,
But once you have a dream and you have a vision and you decide to pay the price, the cost you will achieve. Very good.
Yeah.
Reciprocate the breakthrough. The first time when someone prevails over fear is usually, listen to this one now, is usually the hardest.
Yes.
The first time.
Yes.
The first time. The first step is usually the hardest.
That's right. Yes.
Right? You agree?
Of
The
course.
second, the third, and the fourth time of facing the same fear becomes easier
and easier.
and easier. Over time, the steps for conquering fear can be ingrained on our mind to the point where you can face fear without it holding you to the past are controlling you. I think for some of us, including myself, I've been there.
Yes.
And now things that used to bother me, even going through high school, college, university, doesn't bother me anymore. You've been through...
Because
and
we're older and more experienced.
There you go, more experience.
Yeah.
You know, and you overcome the challenges.
That's right.
You realize that's a part of life. You know, helping others. What about this one? Helping others overcome their fears. That's important. We have a responsibility. We have an assignment. It's not just about us, but
remember,
also about...
we are each one.
Teach one. There we go. There we go. When you have successfully learned how to deal with and overcome your fear, then we can take extra steps to help others who are facing their fear. Continue, Miss Donna.
If you are not making someone else's life better, then you are wasting your time.
Wow.
Your life will become better by making other lives better.
Yes. So let's finalize it tonight. What are we saying tonight, Miss Donna, as we took these few moments to discuss the pandemic of fear? So we are saying there are two sides to fear.
Yes.
There's a negative
and the positive.
And there's a positive. But we can use both sides as stepping stone to success.
Exactly.
Am I right?
That's right.
So we don't have to be we don't have to allow the negative fears to destroy.
That's right.
To stop us from achieving our goals. Yeah.
Yes.
We can again stepping stones. You know, look at it as these things as just a test. Without a test, there's no testimony. Someone says.
That's right.
You know, and so we can grow on these things. So what can we say, Ms. Donna? I go back again to our Creator God, and in the Bible, you know, I was reading the Bible, and there's so many scriptures that speaks about fear, both positive and negative. I was quite impressed.
Yes.
But I looked at what God has to say. Quite a few scriptures, and I have a few. Maybe we can read a few there. What about the first one? Let's hear what God has to say for those who are afraid with the negative fear.
Here's what Isaiah 41:10 says. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God.
Wow.
I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness.
So God is saying to someone there that now that have been bound with this negative fear, have nightmares, fear torments. And God is saying it's time now to trust God, to look up to God. God is saying, fear not. What God is saying is making it personal, as you just read. He said, I am thy God.
Yes.
He said, I will strengthen thee. Come on. So we're talking to those tonight, Miss Donna, who are experiencing the spirit of fear. Severe fear, that have imprisoned their mind.
That's right.
You know, that have brought them into a cocoon of loneliness and depression and anxiety and all of that. There's a way out. God is saying, I'm your creator.
Yes.
You don't have to be afraid. Look to me. What about the next one? Joshua 1 and verse 9. This is what it says. Joshua chapter 1 and verse 9 says, have I not commanded thee? Be strong and be of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou. Man, that's encouraging,
that's right.
Miss Donna. So that is telling us, wherever we go, God said, I'm there. So he said, don't be afraid, but be encouraged.
Yes.
Take courage, because once God is with you, you don't have to be afraid.
That's right.
Amen. What about the next one, Miss Donna?
Psalm 34 verse 4. This is like a personal testimony to me.
Yes.
I sought the Lord,
Wow.
and he heard me and delivered me from all my fears. And I just want to share something quickly.
Wow.
I remember one morning as I was driving to work, I was going through something. And, you know, there's a song, Brooklyn Tabernacle has a song, and that song came on.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, that song put me in a different place.
Yes.
I sought the Lord. I was going through something.
Yes.
It said, I sought the Lord. And guess what? He heard me.
Right.
And he delivered me from whatever it is. By the time I reached in the parking lot, I was rejoicing. There were tears running down because of this. And I can tell you, I can relate to it.
Yes.
I sought him. He heard me. He not only heard me, he delivered me from whatever it is I was going through in that 1 hour drive to work. And I stepped into that office like I owned that office.
Come on
because God delivered me
Come on.
from my fear.
So what are you saying then, Miss Donna, to the general populace? So you're saying for those that are going through a dark path of fear, like the psalmist David, like your experience, turn to the Lord.
Yes.
Seek the Lord because He has the answer.
That's right.
And He's willing. The Bible says the eyes of the Lord is upon the righteous and His ears are open unto their cry. So when we seek God and present our case to Him, He will hear and He will answer, He will deliver.
And deliver.
That's powerful.
Yes.
What about the next one? 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7. The writer says here, the Lord has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind. So that spirit, that negative spirit of fear did not come from the Lord.
That's right.
Only the positive. So the negative spirit comes from the other guy, the bad guy, amen, the devil. But God says, I've not given you the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. That's reassuring.
Yes.
That's encouraging.
Oh, yes.
And give us the last one.
And the last one that we have here, 1 John 4, verse 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love.
So, okay, as we wrap it up, Miss Donna, so you're saying that the negative fear brings torment?
Of course. Absolutely. All the time.
People become depressed. People become suicidal.
Yes.
Anxiety and all these things. They get a hold of their lives mentally, the trauma. And so, because of the negative fear, it brings torment in people's lives.
That's right. That's right.
But look at what he says. Perfect love. That's the love of God.
Cast it
out all fear. So when we submit ourselves to the Lord, hallelujah, and allow Him to come into our life and take control of our life, fear cannot dwell, the negative fear cannot dwell there anymore.
That's right.
Isn't that powerful?
That's right.
Well, this was a wonderful time.
It was wonderful.
Wonderful. Well, Miss Donna, you have the last word. What do you have to say to our friends?
I just want to encourage someone this evening who is going through whatever fear you're facing. As we share these Bible verses, feel free to read them over. Feel free to listen to the songs that will cause you to be at peace, to forget all those issues that will make you feel depressed, will make you feel like you want to be alone, because God has the final say.
Awesome.
And also, let me remind you, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Please remember to like and share our podcast. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yes. And also, Ms. Donna, I would like to thank our engineer, Mr. Malcolm London, doing a fantastic job. And Mrs. Campbell, Stacyann Campbell, she's a coordinator, putting everything together. We'd like to thank them and thank you. You're very awesome.
Thank you.
And I'm glad to have you at my side as we work together to help the general populace out there in situations that they are facing.
Thank you.
And so we want to remind them that every Monday night we'll be having a new recording. And also that we are affiliated with a ministry which is called Victory World Impact Ministry. 3718 Kingston Road, Toronto, Ontario. Postal code is M1J 3H3. Telephone number is 416-282-1101. So if the folks are in the area, they can come on in. Let's have fellowship in church on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Again, coming live and direct to you from People Touching People Forum. Thank you for tapping in with us tonight. We look forward to seeing you next week. God bless you. God bless you.
God bless.
Thank you, Miss Thomas. Thank you.